now entered the new year. It's 2025, a brand new season, and, well, the whole regular season of the NFL has now passed. So today, what we're going to be doing is looking at every single team's biggest regret of 2024. You know, you may have your New Year's resolutions, and, well, these went rather poorly for these teams. So before we get in this video, let me remind you, check out w.gg, my favorite energy drinks. I've got them sitting right here. I actually drank this one this morning, the fruit punch. That's why it's on top, because I drank it today. It's one of my favorite flavors. My favorite is, I will say, the blue raspberry, kind of my go-to, but the fruit punch is nothing to mess with as well. It's a good flavor. So check them out at w.gg or click the link in the description and use my code SHREDDER, SHRD3R, for 10% off your order of anything on their website. Also, check out my merch in the description, and let's get right into this video. Starting off in the AFC, and the AFC East for that matter, we're going to go with the Bills first. And they don't have a ton of regrets this year, but their biggest one in 2024 was not drafting Ladd McConkey. Man, Ladd McConkey was such a good receiver for the Chargers this year, and if the Bills had him, who knows how much better their offense would have been. Honestly, I think, yeah, Khalil Shakir's good, and Keon Coleman was fine, but he was hurt a lot. Get Ladd McConkey in there, I think it's a much better offense. It would have been a lot better across the board. That's a big miss from the Buffalo Bills. Moving to the Dolphins, in my opinion, I think it's their biggest regret of 2024 is re-upping and not trading Tua Tagovailoa. He's not a guy. He just isn't. He is an average quarterback, an average to above par starting quarterback. I mean, that's at best. It's just not that great. He's not really incredible, and honestly, I think it was a bigger loss than it was a success that they did bring him back. So that's their biggest one. The Jets, well, Aaron Rodgers. Final team in the AFC East, the New England Patriots. It was drafting Jalen Polk over literally any offensive lineman, wide receiver, tight end, literally anything. They could have drafted anything. It would have been better than drafting Jalen Polk, okay? Moving on to the AFC North, the Bengals. Paying 10 guys on defense because only one of 11 guys deserved a single dollar, okay? If you know what happened to the Bengals defense this year, you know they actually were horrible. They were terrible. They were not good at all. So paying 10 of these guys, not including Trey Hendrickson, was a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of assets. Shouldn't have done it. Honestly, include 11 guys with Lou Anarumo. Why did they pay him? I don't know. He got fired today, so makes sense. Anyways, the Browns, much like the Jets, Deshaun Watson, they're going to be regretting him for quite some time. They regret him now. They'll regret him later. They'll regret him a few days ago. They still regret him today. Yeah, it's a bad situation for Cleveland, okay? They regret Deshaun Watson, his money, his contract, bringing him in, all those things combined. They regret them all, and I don't blame them for that. The Ravens, honestly, they're going to regret winning less games and getting more stats because that's going to lose Lamar the MVP. And Ravens fans, you can't whine about it because last year, the inverse happened. He won more games and had less stats, and he won the MVP. So if Josh Allen wins it, you can't whine about it because it's the same exact thing that happened last year. You know, Lamar and the Ravens had a better record, and Josh Allen and the Bills have a good record, and less stats, more stats, but this guy wins the MVP. It doesn't make any sense, really, if you think about it like that, but at the same time, it does because, well, that guy won more. But yeah, that's going to be a big regret for them because now he can't win his third MVP, and honestly, Josh Allen probably truly does deserve it after last year, too. Moving on. For the Steelers, it's not receiving a receiver because, well, they tried to receive a receiver, and when they received that receiver's name's Mike Williams, he didn't receive any passes on the whole year, basically. He might as well not have. Same with Roman Wilson. Neither did anything. Why did they do it? I don't know. Great job, Steelers. That was a good one there. Moving on down to the AFC South, the Jaguars was believing that Gabe Davis, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and Travis Etienne was good, was enough, was anything. Really believing that Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis were a good 1-2 combo because do you have 4 brain cells? Is that all you have in your head? Because that must be it. That's a terrible combo. I mean, Gabe Davis is literally a drag route or a go route, and that's about it. That's all he's good for. Christian Kirk's fine, but not a receiver 1. What are we doing? I don't know. The Colts not bringing back Joe Flacco because Anthony Richardson, I don't think he's it, man. He's just not very, doesn't look very pretty when he's out there, okay? Joe Flacco probably would have done better with this team. Probably, you know, and I know they have him, but they didn't play him, so that's the problem. The biggest regret for the Texans in 2024 was talking up C.J. Stroud so much that, well, exactly what I told you guys. If you've been following my channel for a while now, I told you after last year, stop talking up C.J. Stroud because you're going to make him look like he deserves to be a top 5 quarterback, and he's just not. He played a good rookie season. Don't do it again this year with Jaden Daniels. Don't do it. Let them develop. Let them be a player. Don't put unheralded expectations on them after one season of football. And guess what? They did it, and this year he didn't really seem to play all that well. For a lot of reasons. There's many reasons there, but hey, stop talking him up that much, and you won't have this problem, at least in the same sense. If they didn't talk about him like how they did last year, we wouldn't have seen the hate come out like it was. The Titans, their biggest regret was whatever made Will Levis do this, and this, and this, and also this. Final division, the AFC West. The biggest regret for the Chiefs is, well, the Bills. The one team that they truly lost to, the Bills. They regret the Bills. They regret everything about the Bills and Josh Allen and the Bills and that rivalry. And, well, yeah, then we'll see if they'll regret them in the playoffs. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But, yeah, to this point, they definitely regret that Bills game. That's for sure. The Chargers, they regret not being able to handle Kansas City because maybe if they would have won those two games that they really were not that far off of winning, they may have had a much better shot at winning their division, kicking the Chiefs to the curb, doing a lot of good stuff, and, kind of just demoralizing the Chiefs. They had a chance. They had a very good chance, and they blew it. They absolutely freaking blew it. Why do you do this, Chargers? Broncos, overhyping Bo Nix. We're literally watching what's going to happen with C.J. Stroud. Next year, he's not going to do as good as he did this year, and everybody's going to start hating on Bo Nix, and they're going to get mad, and they're going to be like, oh, he actually sucks. Why are we having this guy here? Well, you did this to yourself. Stop overhyping him. He played 1 year of pretty decent, okay football, okay? Let's not act like he's amazing. He's fine. He's decent. He's okay. Let's give him time to develop. And then for the Raiders, I don't think I need to tell you this, but their biggest regret is Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew and Desmond Ridder. Why would they think that was going to work? In what world would that ever work? I don't even understand how you think and have a brain that that's going to suffice anything at all. Moving into the NFC for the Cowboys in the NFC East, signing Dak to the $60 million deal. What are you thinking? What are you doing? What is going on in your brain cells that makes you think that that's a good idea to give Dak Prescott the largest contract in NFL history? Dak Prescott, an average, above average, solid starter, good starter. Okay, I'm working my way up here. But either way, he's fine. He doesn't deserve that anyways. The Eagles, it's not bringing back Jason Kelce for one more time because they might have it this year. They might get a Super Bowl, and they don't have Jason Kelce there. That's kind of an L. That's a big L. He just retired, and he could have been there for this. He could have been there for this, and you got to bring him back just one more time. You got to. The Commanders, I really don't have one for them, honestly. Really good season for them. I couldn't. It took a lot, so I'm going to just say this, okay? Their biggest regret is not that bad, but it's kind of falling victim to the Kingsbury fall-off, if you know what I mean. If you know much about Cliff Kingsbury and his time with the Arizona Cardinals, the offense always seemed to fall off in the second half of the season, and there was definitely motions towards that this NFL season. Wasn't so bad, but, I mean, they definitely did kind of slip off after the first half of the year to a point, but it's not that big a deal. I just had to find something, okay? The Giants, starting the year with Daniel Jones, because, look, you got rid of him anyways. You wasted all this time. Now you still have the money to deal with. You could have just gone away with him to begin with. You didn't draft Aiden Daniels when your son told you to. Whatever your name is, GM that was on Hard Knocks, I can't remember. Sean, something. It's an S, okay? Either way, lots of things. The Giants regret being the Giants. That's about case in point for them. Probably the most eye-glaring, easiest answer here for the Falcons is, well, take a guess. I'm going to give you a little second here. Ready? Signing Kirk Cousins. What else? Why did you do that? It really played out pretty horribly, didn't it? Not really anything good came out of that. Not one thing. Now you have a whole bunch of guaranteed money, a big contract that you're not even going to pay the guy to play for your team, okay? It's going to be Russell Wilson part 2. The Broncos paying him $40 million to play for the Steelers this year. It's what's going to happen next year. What are we doing? Don't know. The Saints, Dennis Allen still being a head coach in the year of our Lord 2024. What are we doing? What are we doing? This guy stinks. He's stunk. He's been bad. He's stinky. He's always been terrible. Why is Dennis Allen still a head coach? I don't know. I'll never know. I'll never understand that. And for the Bucks, employing Rachaad White for far too long. Look, Bucky Irving is good at football, okay? And it took them about 3/4 of the year to figure out that Bucky Irving was good at football. At least better than Rachaad White. And if you know me, I'm the league leader of Rachaad White Hate Club. I am there. I've always been there. I've been there since he entered the league. He's not a good running back. He just simply isn't. He's not a starter in this league. If he is a starter, he's the worst one in the league. Here comes Bucky Irving. All right, I'm now the Bucky Irving fan club president, okay? Because I hate Rachaad White. Bucky Irving's here. Why is he on the team? Get Rachaad White away from this team. For the Panthers, I also don't have a whole lot of regrets here because, well, there's not a lot to work with, okay? But I kind of think that, I mean, Deontay Johnson, that's a regret, actually. Let's go with that. It just came to my mind. Yeah, why'd you bring him in? Why'd you pay him what you did? Why'd you trade for him and give up Dante Jackson, a good cornerback, when you got Deontay Johnson for a whopping, 6 games, and he didn't do anything? Yeah, not great. Why'd you do that, pal? Don't know. Packers, not employing a top receiving threat, because guess what? Christian Watson's hurt, and now you have to work with Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs, and Tucker Kraft, who I will admit, Tucker Kraft had a really good season, but that's not great, okay? You're going to try to get Jordan Love, this young and up-and-coming quarterback, to improve with mediocre weapons, okay? Not really the recipe for success. Let's analyze that and realize, hey, I see with my eyes that that's not the best idea. Move on. Vikings. Leading too many games. Honestly, they've been a pretty bad team. Their biggest fear is a lead. Every time they lead, they end up losing. Losing to Detroit was a big deal last night, but getting the 5th seed, that's a regret. I don't know. A lot of things about, hey, they led and they lost, and they didn't even end up losing. They lost a whopping 3 games on the year, but pretty sure they led in 2 out of those 3, not being last night. And also, just kind of every time they did lead, it was like, well, this is going to get a lot more stressful than it should be, so buckle up, buddy. The Lions, the biggest regret they have is just being hurt. A lot of injuries. It sucks. I mean, it really does. You have a great season, and honestly, somehow they're still having a great season with all the injuries. And, you might say, well, there's other teams, the Niners, the Bears, they all have these tons of injuries too, the Browns, whoever. No one has all their injuries take place on one side of the ball. And in a way, that's worse, because now your entire defense is backups, practice squad guys, free agent guys who don't play in the NFL, okay? The entire defense. There's not a starter there. And not anymore. Terrion Arnold's gone. I mean, they just got Anzalone back and Jack Campbell. Stop it. I'm not talking about them. The other starters, okay? They're all gone. It sucks. The Bears, employing Matt Eberflus and not Cliff Kingsbury. Sometimes you got to know when to rip the Band-Aid off. Good job, Patriots. You fired Gerard Mayo. After 1 year, you realized it wasn't going to work and ripped the Band-Aid off. Yeah, it sucks. Make you kind of like a dummy. But it's okay. It happens. We're all a dummy every now and then. Hey, Bears, learn something. Eberflus should have been fired a year and a half ago. This guy stinks. He's terrible. He's a defensive coordinator. He's not a head coach. You could have had Cliff Kingsbury, the guy who wanted to be your head coach because he worked with Caleb Williams at USC. And you didn't hire him. For what reason? I don't know. Great job, buddy. Good job. Really, really, really good thumbs up there. Not even for the offensive coordinator position. Not even that. What are we doing? And our last division, the NFC West, the Cardinals' biggest regret is just having an atrocious roster, man. I've talked about this ad nauseum to this point. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, Budda Baker, Michael Wilson's okay. That's about all of their good players. That's just about every single one of them. There's 5 of them out of a 53-man roster, okay? I don't do math very well, but that's under 10%, all right? Yeah, it's under 10%. It's like 8%. 8% of your roster is worth it. That sucks, okay? They won 7 games, which I also did predict that to happen, so whoop, toot my own horn there. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll tell you when I'm right, but I'm going to tell you when I'm wrong, too. They won 7 games with a horrible roster. Now imagine if they had a decent roster. Maybe 20% of their roster was good. Not 5, okay? That would be a lot better. A lot better. Anyways, the 49ers being complacent. The 49ers have been complacent for what? 3 years now? 4 years maybe? Oh, we made the NFC Championship. Let's just run it right back, and look what that does to you. Nothing. NFC Championship. Oh, you made the Super Bowl this time? Guess what? You lost. In which Deebo Samuel said was worse than losing the NFC Championship. And now you have this team that just fell apart with injuries and, oh, big deal, woohoo, whiny. No one cares. No one's going to cry for you. I really promise you that much. You blew your shot when you had it, so I'm not upset for you. I'm not at all. The Rams not retaining Raheem Morris. He's a great defensive coordinator. Not really sure about him as a head coach yet for the Falcons, but he's a good coordinator, okay? And this defense, if they would have just had a leader, a guy in that room to just be the leader and be good and do something right, man, it could have been so much better. But because of that, they didn't have that. They struggled, and the defense was kind of just like, hey, we're going to stand here, you're going to score, and then we're going to go score, and we're going to score more than you by the end of the game, okay? That's how it worked out for them, and it worked to this point, but really not a good recipe for the playoffs. And our last team, the Seattle Seahawks, is their biggest regret is continuing to believe in Geno Smith in the year of our Lord, 2024. Why would they do that? Oh, he threw 5,000 yards. Not he didn't, 5,000. It was like 4,000 something. He had top 5 in yards, okay? Whoop-de-doo. It's because they were losing and had to throw a ton of yards, a lot, okay? They weren't good. They fired their offensive coordinator, which means he just had to chuck balls down the field all second half. Yeah, that's going to happen, okay? Big thumbs up from me, pal. Geno Smith isn't good. I mean, he's fine. He is a bridge player. He's a bridge starter. Okay, he's not a Jacoby Brissett bridge. He's better than that. Like let's analyze that much. Okay, he's a top 20 to 27 quarterback in the NFL. That's about it. Why are we still sitting on this guy thinking he's going to be the future when he's 30 something and was a backup for 10 years? There's a reason he's a backup for 10 years. Anywho, that's going to do it for our biggest regrets of 2024 for every NFL team. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. What was your biggest regret for your team? Probably watching them for some of you. Probably not watching them for some of you. And maybe also, like, for me, for being a Steelers fan, my biggest regret is believing that... no, actually, it was even thinking that Justin Fields was going to be able to sit on the bench and not be yelled at every 5 minutes. I don't like Justin Fields. I don't think he's all that great. And he just... the fans won't shut up, okay? He's not good. He hasn't been good in his NFL career, and we think he's still good for some reason. Because he runs fast, I guess? I don't know. Either way, that's a whole soapbox. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one.